Morning everybody, Phil Henry here from the Capricornia Chamber of Commerce. It's Friday the 4th of April. I'm here with our President, Jason Foss. How are you, Jason?
Morning, Phil. Well, thank you. Morning, everybody. It hasn't rained yet. We're down on the beachfront at Yeppoon.
No.
We were just looking. You probably can't see it in frame. There's
Raining that way.
bit happening coming from that way, so hopefully we get this finished
If we start running,
If we start running,
it started raining.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, of course, we've got a bit to get through today, but there will be chapter markers, so you can have a look down the bottom and just skip to the bits that you need to if you like. And if you're on YouTube, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe and do all those things.
Please do.
If you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, sorry, no chapters for you, but please like us and follow us on your platform of choice anyway.
Please like us.
Please, please. We're desperate for the attention.
Indeed, yes.
So, Phil, the budget.
The budget.
The budget. We had a budget announcement last week.
We did indeed.
Every time I say budget, you react the same way.
Colourist disappointed. Whether it was because it was all a bit short notice, you know, prior to the election and that, but I sometimes wonder what goes on in the back rooms of parties. They should be doing the hard work.
Yeah.
But anyway, there was a bit of stuff. There's for small business particularly, so there's a $150 energy bonus. The non-compete clauses, the abolition of non-compete clauses for people earning less than $170,000 a year, that's quite an interesting one, Jason.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of, like, in one way I can see why they did it, but you think of like hairdressers were an example that were raised. You know, you own a salon, you employ a hairdresser, they get popular and then decide to leave and take all of your clientele with them.
Yeah.
You know, you do, as a small business owner, you need some kind of protection against that sort of thing happening.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of...
Yeah, I mean...
I'd like to see the devil in the detail on that one.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, the argument was made that it's actually a boost of productivity, and in the broader macroeconomic sense, yes, it is. Actually, that's a microeconomic reform. So there you go. Got that one wrong.
There you go. So we got that one.
Please don't listen to these broadcasts. just like us. So there you go. So we'll see that one. There was one here that's very close to my heart. So the indexation on draft beer has been paused for 2 years.
Yes, so I thought you might appreciate that one.
Get on down to your local craft beer outlet and do them a favour.
They were tapping into the sentiment of the nation, were they?
They were tapping, yes, indeed.
Sorry, Phil came up with that one earlier. I just
whatever. There's some interesting stuff here about apprentices. Apprentices working in fields related to construction, such as carpentry, joinery and brickies, will be given $10,000 incentives for completing the training, because we know a lot of apprentices, they get almost to the end of it and then they pull out and go and do something else.
Happen, yeah. And of course, we need more skilled workers, so we need people to finish apprenticeships. So,
well, in this part of the world, we're going to lose a lot of tradies to down south with the Olympic Games. Mm-hmm. So we need to bring on a whole cohort, a whole generation here.
Yeah. So that's important.
Yeah, it is. And the other side of that equation, employers of apprentices in priority occupations such as housing-related fields may also be eligible for up to $5,000 as a priority hiring incentive. There we go. The other one that just popped up this morning, there was the instant asset write-off that was going to finish.
So it was going to finish, and now it seems that it's not going to finish?
Seems that it's going to keep going for at least a little while longer.
Yes.
So watch this space. It only just came out this morning, so we need the detail there. Yeah, it's a little bit underwhelming. I'm not whelmed at all, Jason.
Very not whelmed, yes.
I'm not whelmed.
This has been a common theme for almost as long as we've been doing these, is budgets come out and the hard decisions aren't being made by anybody.
If you go back to 2010, which is now 15 years, a bloke called Ken Henry, who surprisingly enough is not a relation, did a comprehensive review of Australia's taxation system and came out with about 90 recommendations. And as far as I recall, none of them have been implemented. So
yes,
that's what we need.
Yeah.
Root and branch.
We need somebody to stop worrying about Facebook popularity and start making some tough decisions, I think.
Unlike us. No, please like us.
So last week we had our March coffee catch-up at Tamby Garden Centre, down the road from here. A really good morning, but we were so busy talking that nobody actually took any photos. So I'm here to assure you it did actually happen, although we can't actually prove it. Photos or it didn't happen. But I did manage to have a chat with Liz from Studio 11, one of our gold members, pulled her aside and had a bit of a chat with her about her business. So let's just throw to that now. Hey, Liz from Studio 11. How are you, Liz?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. We've just finished up coffee this morning at Tenby Garden Centre. Not a bad tenant. Pretty good coffee over there at Veen too, I've got to say.
Fantastic coffee and a lovely place.
It is really nice here, isn't it? As soon as we're done here, I'm going to go grab another coffee, I think, because it's that time of day. Liz, you're a fairly recent gold member of the Chamber and only relatively new in town too. So
yes.
Tell me what you're doing.
So I'm a dermal therapist and a cosmetic tattooist. So I do facials, cosmetic tattooing, and non-surgical lipo treatment.
Okay, all right. So whereabouts are you?
On Musgrave Street, next to Captain Nemo.
All right. So what are you seeing the most of in the area? I realise you're only fairly new, but where's most of your work happening at the moment? What sort of work are you doing?
We're doing a lot of body makeovers at the moment. So we're doing a lot of non-surgical lipo and skin tightening.
Okay.
As well as a lot of anti-aging.
Right, okay. Okay, maybe I need that. Is there anything that you, I guess, to pride yourself in terms of what are you doing better than everybody else or different to everybody else? Or
we've got a couple of Australian titles for our high food treatments, which is high intensity focused ultrasound, and that has a few modalities. So that's non-surgical lipo and non-surgical facelifts and skin tightening.
Okay. So yeah, Australian titles for that. Oh,
yes.
That's nothing to be sneezed at. So you've got a fair range of stuff that you're doing here. What's your favourite thing to do?
My absolute favourite is probably a toss-up between microneedling or cosmetic tattooing.
Right, okay. Can you tell me why?
I don't know. I guess I just like using my tattooing machine.
Fair.
They were fun.
Fair enough. Now, what I find when I'm talking to a lot of small businesses is that you do a lot of different things, and people don't often know all of the things that you do.
Correct.
I got a question for you. What is it that you do that people don't know that you do that you wish that they did know that you do?
Oh, that's a good one. A lot of people don't realize how many different types of facials we offer.
Okay.
Yeah. We have a lot of varieties of facials.
Fine.
And
so
skin analysis.
Pretty obviously, I don't know anything about facials. What are they? Different kinds of things, based on what different areas or different people's starting points? Or?
Yeah, so certain people have different skin conditions, and then if we have to treat their skin condition, or people might be looking for a more hydrated look on their face, things like that. If you work in the sun a lot, your skin gets really dehydrated.
Okay. Yeah,
a lot of people get lines just right in there from being out in the sun.
All those sorts of things, yeah. Good stuff. So how do people get in touch with you?
Contact us on Facebook or Google, and we are on Instagram as well, or our phone number.
All right. Well, Studio 11 is the name. Google that on all those different places, I suppose. Thanks for joining us, Liz.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks.
So we're just talking about apprenticeships a bit earlier. And Phil, you've got sort of a related event coming up.
Yeah, we do indeed. This is being put on by Construction Schools Queensland and the Central Queensland Regional Organisation of Councils through its Regional Jobs Committee. So this is an event on the 14th of May at Yeppoon State High School. They're calling it School to Trade Connections. So I think the issue here is if you either employ apprentices or you, more to the point, if you're thinking about it, this really is an opportunity to get along and learn a bit more about the system and what the opportunities are. Because as we were saying just a few minutes ago, we're going to need a lot more tradies here in this part of the world.
Yes, yes we are.
The infrastructure builds, with any luck, won't stop. There's a few others on the books at the moment. So this is what we need to do to bring on this next generation of tradies, and it's aimed particularly at those kids who are in maybe years 9 or 10 and aren't going to go through to uni. They know they're going to be out there in the field doing real stuff with their hands, which is a
'cause that academic kind, like that's not everybody's cup of tea.
No, it isn't.
Let's face
No,
it. And
no.
if that's not your jam,
No.
yeah, get out and learn a trade.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So once again, 14th of May, Wednesday the 14th of May, there's a registration QR code here which you may not be able to pick up, but
How about I put the link above or below this, depending on where you're watching it?
you techno whizzes, I don't know how you do it.
I don't know how I do it half the time either.
Have a look for the link.
Went to wasn't really breakfast, but a morning meeting put on by Advanced Rockhampton earlier this week with a guest speaker from Trade Investment Queensland. And of course, tariffs and all those sorts of things have been all over the headlines of late. But the speaker, and I've completely forgotten his name right now, I should look that up, made a couple of interesting points about that. The first thing he said was that beware about jumping at shadows and paying too much attention to the headlines, because there's a lot of, like, the devil's in the detail, which is true of a lot of things. And in terms of Queensland's export market, when he said this was before the announcement regarding our beef, so this now might be a little bit out of date, but before that announcement about our beef, it was a very small percentage of Queensland's exports were really affected by, what was being speculated at the time. Of course, there's been some announcements since that, but something he did say which sort of resonated with me a little bit, and that is one person's obstacle is another person's opportunity. And he was talking about that specifically with potentially exporting to other markets rather than the US or whatever the case may be. But that kind of applies in business and in life in general. If something in your industry, if there's an obstacle in your industry, there's potentially an opportunity there to solve that and find a way around it. And straight away, you've got then a head start on others in your industry who are still looking at the obstacle. So that's a little bit deep and meaningful for this time of morning, but
no, you've done well.
That was my thought for the day.
But the thing about sort of other markets, that takes me back to one of the many periods in my life when I was involved in this sort of stuff, and that was the 1997 Asian financial crisis.
Okay.
And that was at a stage when there was a big push about getting Australian companies to export into Asia, particularly Southeast Asia.
Right.
And saying, all right, if it's not going to be a lucrative market or even a viable market for a while, look somewhere else, and Europe or wherever at that stage. So that sort of stuff always applies. You should be keeping on top of where if you are an exporter, where your stuff's going and is it providing the return that you're expecting.
And I suppose whether it be export or whether it just be business in general, if you're relying on one big client, that's red flags should be on that. If you lose a customer or a client or access to a particular market and all your eggs are in that basket, that you need to have some sort of mitigation plan before it happens.
Indeed. The global egg shortage will become a lot worse.
Our April coffee is on the 30th this month, last Wednesday in April. It will be in Rocky somewhere, but we don't have a sponsor for that as yet either. So if you're interested in sponsoring our April coffee, you may get to choose where it happens. And sponsorship's pretty easy. Basically, you just pick up the coffee bill at the end of the morning. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not an expensive thing to sponsor.
No, it's not.
So if it is something that you'd like, because you also get your 5 minutes of fame that morning, you get the opportunity to say whatever it is you want to say to the assembled throng. Is that the right word?
A throng, an online throng, a throng line.
I don't know where to go with that.
No.
But yeah, reach out to Tanya Paul if you're interested in sponsoring our April coffee. You can get a hold of her using events@capricorniachamber.com.au. It'll be in Rocky somewhere, but definitely pencil the 30th in your diary. That's when it'll be. Yeah. So again, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd like to do more of these, but we want to reach as many people as we can while we're doing them. Yeah. I think that's about all we've got for this morning.
I'd like to give a bit of a shout out to these guys, my friends in Relic.
What's the tagline?
Great band, classic rock as it should be. They play out at the Cruising Yacht Club, they play at the Frenchie, they play at the Cry. Get along and see them. They are really good. They have a lot of fun, and that means you're going to have a lot of fun as well.
They are pretty good. Are they still doing the Pink Floyd?
I believe they are.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Cool. So with that, the bill's in the mail, fellas. Let's just say that it's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from me. We got it right.